Yeah.
Okay, something has happened. So, alrighty, so let's get started with the game. So we have Abhinav in seat 1, Swami in seat 2, Harshit in seat 3, and Aswath, you're in seat 4. Calls you weird calling you Aswath, but for the sake of propriety, I will call you Aswath in this call. So there'll be 8 rounds of questions, 2 questions per seat. And like I mentioned earlier, you will see the pass, which will be coming up on your screen as we move along. Cool. Best of luck. And let's get started. All right. First question coming up for you, Abhinav. I will be pasting it in chat so you can also read along. First question. In 1999, Astronomy magazine listed the 7 wonders of the solar system. Which of these 7 wonders, an anticyclonic storm with a diameter greater than 40,000 kilometers, has persisted for more than 300 years on Jupiter? You have 30 seconds to answer, Abhinav.
Pass.
You'll pass. Swami passes. Harshit?
I pass.
Ashwath?
Red spot.
The red spot or the great red spot is correct.
Good answer.
Second question for you, Abhinav.
Yeah.
Which woman in Greek mythology was cursed by Apollo to utter true prophecies but never to be believed? She foresaw Troy's destruction and warned the Trojans about the Greeks hiding inside the Trojan horse, only for her warnings to be disregarded. She shares her name with the watercolor painter who was also Jane Austen's sister.
Cassandra.
Cassandra is correct. All right, Swami, you're 2. Sorry, I have 2 people in the waiting room. Let me see. Let me let them. Okay, Shresh and Rahul joining in. Hey, Shresh. I think Rahul is also joining in. All right, next 2 for you, Swami, coming up. In last December, BBC News came up with a headline that read, Shakespeare gets COVID vaccine when it emerged that a certain William Shakespeare received the vaccine. What 5 words that form the title of a play published in 1623 also appropriately form the hopeful subtitle of this article?
All's well that ends well.
All's well that ends well is correct. And the second question of your set. In 2014, the Women's Prize for Fiction, which we will call the Orange Prize for convenience henceforth, launched a campaign to find the most impactful novel written by a woman. Which 1960 Southern Gothic novel topped the list?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird is correct. All right. And the third question, the third set in this round, that will be for you, Harshit.
Okay.
First question coming up in chat as well for you. Queen Victoria was proclaimed the Empress of India during the tenure of which Viceroy of India? He was the son of a dark and stormy English writer and the father-in-law of Edwin Lutyens, the man behind the architecture of Imperial Delhi.
I pass.
You pass. Abhinav? I'll have to pass.
This is Hastings.
Not Hastings. Swami?
Wolverhampton.
Lord
Wolverhampton.
Yeah, is correct. All right. Just to note, Abhinav, we don't have too much time when it comes to a pass, so please have your answer ready.
Okay.
Immediately next time. All right. Second question for you, Harshit. Harold won a silver medal representing Denmark in football at the 1908 Summer Olympics while working on a PhD in mathematics. He would eventually choose a career in mathematics. His more famous brother was originally a goalkeeper as well, but went on to win the Nobel Prize for Physics. What is their common surname?
I pass.
You pass. Ashwath?
Bohr.
Bohr is correct. Niels Bohr being the...
He shouldn't have gone to Abhinav.
Yeah.
It was per what was there in screen, so
Yeah. No, I
distributed
think
takes care of
everyone
it.
had one.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So correct.
I,
All right.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this score typically takes care of it of itself, Swami. So unless I press a wrong button, it typically is pretty good with this. All right. Your two questions, Ashwath, coming up. First question for you. The first song to be named Binaka Geetmala Song of the Year was Ye Zindagi Usi Ki Hai in 1953. In which film was this song featured? The title character of this film would be portrayed more famously by actress Madhubala some years later.
I'm guessing Anarkali.
Anarkali is correct. And the second question. This Dutch economist was one half of the first Nobel laureates in economics when he shared the 1969 Nobel with Ragnar Frisch. His brother Nicholas also won the Nobel Prize for his work in physiology. What surname do they share?
Pass.
Short passes. Harshit,
Pass.
Abhinav.
Tinbergen.
Tinbergen is correct. All right, so that's the end of the first round. Scores, we have Ashwath at 3, Swami's at 3, Abhinav's at 2, and Harshit, you're yet to open, but we have a long way to go. All right, let's get started. Hopefully all of you are comfortable with this first round. Helps you get to understand the format. Good. Your first two questions coming up, Abhinav. First one is here. After an inconclusive round of morning talks, the serving of which dish to Henry Kissinger for lunch is conjectured to have led to a joint statement by the US and China, and to Richard Nixon visiting China the next year?
Peking duck.
Peking duck is correct. And your second question. Which 2007 animated film was co-directed by the author whose graphic novel memoir it was based on? The title references a historical city that stood in the present-day region she hails from.
Persepolis. Mujran Satrapi.
Yes, Persepolis by Marian Satrapi is correct. That's your two. Swami, you're up next. And your question is up. Eleanor Ostrom was the first woman to win the Nobel Prize for Economics in 2009. 10 years later, which French American became the second? She shared it with Abhijit Banerjee and Michael Kremer.
Duflar.
That's incorrect. Harshit?
Esther Duflo.
Esther Duflo is correct. Tough luck, Swami, on that one. And your second question. All right. Sir Christopher, who represents Canada in four-man bobsled at the 1964 Winter Olympics, was also a publishing magnate and a fellow of the Royal Society of Literature. However, his literary contribution is perhaps dwarfed by that of his Booker Prize-winning brother, who, like him, was also born in the Indian subcontinent. What is their common surname?
Pass.
That's a pass. Harshit?
Dalrymple.
Not Dalrymple. Ashwath?
Pass.
Passing. Abhinav?
Coetzee.
Not Coetzee. That is Michael Ondaatje and his brother, Christopher Ondaatje. All right. Next two to you, Harshit. Which Sikh celebration translates into English as Day of Liberation? It commemorates the day that the sixth Sikh Guru, Guru Hargobind, secured the release of 52 others and himself from Gwalior Fort after over 2 years of imprisonment by Mughal Emperor Jahangir.
Baisakhi.
Not Baisakhi. Swami?
Pass.
Ashwath,
Pass.
Abhinav,
Pass.
pass. This is Bandi Chor Divas.
Eh? Bandi Chor.
Bandi Chor Divas. I'll paste it in chat.
Bandi Chhod Divas. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
TIL.
You learn some already. Second question for you, Harshit. Which nightly radio show on Vivid Bharati service, known for its play adaptations, is named after a palace built in the north of India in 1799? The palace in question exhibits the Venturi effect, which keeps it cool in summer.
I pass.
You pass. Swami,
Pass.
Ashwath.
Oh,
Hawa
can I?
Mahal.
Okay,
No,
never mind. Go ahead.
Sorry, Ashwath, go ahead.
Hawa Mahal.
Hawa Mahal is correct.
Good answer.
All right. And next
Yeah.
two questions are for you, Ashwath. Paul Kagame has been the president of which country since 2000? The country has seen great recovery since a dark period in its history in the mid 1990s and is today touted as the Singapore of its region.
Rwanda.
Rwanda is correct. And your second question. The only settlement and capital on the Pitcairn Islands is named after the last surviving mutineer on the HMS Bounty. He shares his most famous name, he had a few of those, with one of the America's presidential founding fathers. What is his name? And we need the first and last name.
Pass.
Pass. Swami?
Pass.
Pass. Harshit?
Pass.
Pass.
All right. Abhinav?
Henry.
Not Henry. This is John Adams, and the capital is Adams.
John.
All right, so that's the end of the second round. Scores, we have Ashwath at 5, Abhinav at 4, Swami at 3, Harshit at 1. Bonus attempts wise, Abhinav has 4, Ashwath has 3, Harshit has 2, and Swami has 1. Pretty close game at this point in time. So let's start off with round 3, and the first question is for you, Abhinav, coming up. An important figure in the great game between the British and Russian empires, he sent France's young husband on an expedition to Tibet to forestall a Russian advance. Who is this viceroy who presided over the partition of Bengal in 1905?
Curzon.
Lord Curzon is correct.
Oh, yes.
And your second question. Which country won their first and only men's European football championships in 1988, a rare tournament where no player was sent off? Of the 6 players from this country to make the team of the tournament, 2 were goalkeepers Hans van Breukelen and midfielder Jan Wouters.
I'd say the Netherlands.
The Netherlands is correct.
Okay.
All right. Swami, your 2 questions coming up. This is your first. Which woman in Greek mythology, known for her fast-running abilities, was told by an oracle that marriage would be her undoing? To avoid marrying, she set up a challenge where anyone beating her in a foot race could marry her. A football club in Italy, Serie A, gets their name from her.
Atlanta.
Atlanta is correct. And your second question. Debuting in 2016, which 4-member group's name reflects their ability to have multiple shades and symbolizes that they are a team that encompasses not only beauty, but also great talent? They are the first music group to have 4 music videos, with each accumulating 1 billion views on YouTube.
BTS.
Not BTS. Harshit?
I pass.
All right. Aswath?
Blackpink.
Blackpink is correct.
Blackpink.
Yep.
So what's
Blackpink.
the answer?
Blackpink.
Basically, 8-year-olds listen to this.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
All right. Next two for you, Harshit. This is your first question. Sorry, let me expand my chat window. In the Netflix comedy drama series Atypical, protagonist Sam Gardner is an 18-year-old on the autism spectrum who rattles off the names of 4 species of Antarctic penguins for reassurance. Which of the 4 atypical species of penguin is named after the territory of Antarctica that is claimed by France? It was discovered in 1840 by the French explorer Jules Dumont d'Urville, who named it after his wife. Removing one vowel from the keyword gives you the winner of 15 Grammys. You have 10 more seconds.
I should pass.
All right.
Adelie
Pass.
Penguin. Mine, right?
Huh?
Yeah, Swami,
Mine,
yours.
right? Adelie Penguin.
Adelie Penguins is correct. And Adele being the singer, who, if you remove the I, you get Adele. Harshit, your second question. In 1999, Astronomy magazine listed the 7 wonders of the solar system. One of the most reflective bodies of the solar system, which of these 7 wonders is named after the giant who opposed Athena during the Gigantomachy? According to legend, he lies buried under Mount Etna in Sicily.
Goliath.
Not Goliath. Swami?
Is it Pallas?
Not Pallas. Ashwath? Sorry, I couldn't catch that.
Vulcan.
Not Vulcan. Abhinav?
Eris.
Not Ares. This is Enceladus.
Enceladus.
Yep. All right, 2 for you. Ashwath, coming up. First question. What in the news multinational came into existence in 1999 through one of the largest ever European mergers at the time? One of the entities involved was founded in 1913 in Sweden, the name of which comes from the Greek word for star.
AstraZeneca.
AstraZeneca is correct. Second question. Which 2001 American slasher film is loosely based on a graphic novel based on the Jack the Ripper murders? The 2-word title of the film comes from the first words of a letter thought to be written by Jack the Ripper.
From Hell.
From Hell is correct. All right, so that's the end of round 3. We have Ashwath on 8, Abhinav at 6, Swami at 5, and Harshit at 1. All right, next 2 in round 4 coming up for you, Abhinav.
How many rounds in total?
8 rounds in total.
Okay.
This one's for you, Abhinav. This music group was originally formed in 1990 as Girls' Time before settling on its more famous name in 1996. What group is this that formally disbanded in 2008? 2 of the 3 key members were Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams.
Dixie Chicks.
Not Dixie Chicks. Harshit?
Spice Girls.
Not Spice Girls. Swami?
Pass.
Pass. Ashwath?
Pass.
Pass. This is Destiny's Child, the 3rd famous member being Beyonce. All right, and second question for you, Abhinav. Which of the 4 atypical penguin species shares its name with the Linux distribution? The common name of this fast-swimming species originates in an Anglo-Indian slang to distinguish Hindus from Muslims, as the white patch on its head was thought to resemble a turban.
Gentoo.
Gentoo is correct. Your two questions, Swami. First one coming up. He was born Hun Banal, but changed his name to Hun Sen sometime after he joined the Khmer Rouge as a soldier. Which country has he been the Prime Minister of almost continuously since 1985?
Cambodia.
Cambodia is correct.
Got
See ball, hit ball. Second question. Named after an American businessman, Longyear Bien is the world's northernmost settlement. It is the capital and largest settlement of what? Let's call it CD location.
Svalbard.
Svalbard is correct. And the clue there being the International Seed Vault. All right, next two for you, Harshit. All right, your first question. This savory dish is one of the culinary symbols of the country whose capital features in its name. It is also called Côtelette du Volet Aillé and is probably French in origin. Name this dish that got its current name when it was served to delegations at the capital after World War II.
I pass.
You pass. Swami?
Pass.
Pass. Ashwath? Is that a pass?
Yeah, pass.
Okay. And Abhinav?
Wiener Schnitzel.
Sorry, could you repeat your answer?
Pass. Wiener Schnitzel. It's not Wiener Schnitzel. I was saying, but it's not. Got it.
All right, I'll take that as an answer because you gave it. So you can't give an answer and then say pass. So I'll consider that as a wrong. The answer there is chicken Kiev.
Chicken Kiev.
All right. Just please be mindful that if you give an answer, I'll have to take it one way or the other. All right. Second question for you, Harshit. A two-time Booker Prize winner, which author has been nominated thrice for the Orange Prize, including for her 1996 novel Alias Grace and for Oryx and Crake in 2004. She has, however, never won this prize.
J.K. Rowling.
Not J.K. Rowling. Swami?
Doris Lessing.
Not Lessing. Ashwath?
Hilary Mantel.
Not Hilary Mantel. Abhinav?
Iris Murdoch.
Not Iris Murdoch. This is Margaret Atwood. All right. Ashwath, your next two questions. After a month of fasting during Ramadan, Muslims observe Eid al-Fitr at the first day of which month? The 10th month of the calendar. The name of this month originates from Urdu for lift or carry, so named because a female camel normally would be carrying a fetus at this time of the year.
Is it Shura?
Not Shura. Harshit?
Pass.
Pass. Swami?
Pass.
Pass. Abhinav?
Pass.
Pass too. This is Shawwal.
How do you spell it?
Shawwal.
Shawwal, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. And your second question coming up, Ashwath. Which country won their first and only men's European football championships in 1992, having qualified only because Yugoslavia were disqualified as a result of its dissolution? The country's highest goal scorer was that country's Henrik Larsson, while Peter Schmeichel and Brian Laudrup made it to the team of the tournament.
Denmark.
Denmark is correct.
Sure, Ashwath.
I think so.
All right. Scores at the end of this round. We have Aswath at 9, Swami and Abhinav are tied at 7, and Harshit is at 1. Moving into round 5. First 2 questions for you, Abhinav. First one coming up. When asked who owns the patent, which pioneer told journalist Edward R. Morrow in 1955? Well, the people, I would say. There is no patent. Could you patent the sun? The first effective vaccine against polio was thus approved for public use after this person's refusal to patent it.
Salk.
Jonas Salk is correct. And your second question. Zadie Smith's Orange Prize winning 2005 novel On Beauty features the character Howard Belsey in a homage to classic novel Howard's End. Who wrote this novel?
Kazuo Ishiguro.
Not Ishiguro. Harshit,
I pass.
you pass. Swami,
E.M. Foster.
E.M. Foster is correct. Kash- all right. Second, okay. Swami, these are your 2. All right, first question for you. A musician from Bohemia by the name of Walter Kaufmann composed the All India radio tune in the mid-1930s, with the violin being played by a certain Mehli Blanc, who is Mehli's famous son, born in 1936 and big name himself in the world of music.
Zubin Mehta.
Zubin Mehta is correct. And your second question. In 1999, Astronomy magazine listed the 7 wonders of the solar system. Which of these 7 wonders is the tallest planetary mountain in the solar system? It is a massive shield volcano on Mars, named in tribute to Greece's highest mountain.
You need the Mons Olympus. Mount Olympus.
Olympus Mons or Mons Olympus is correct. All right, Harshit, your 2 questions. Your first question. A politician named Paul Biya has been either president or prime minister of this country at different times for 45 years, the longest leadership tenure among contemporary non-royals. Which country is he the leader of, where he has been facing an Anglophone crisis since 2017?
Algeria.
Not Algeria. Oops, sorry. That should be a wrong. Swami,
Pass.
that's a pass. Ashwath,
Pass.
Abhinav,
Cameroon.
Cameroon is correct. All right, your second question coming up. The academic publication Econ Journal Watch named which Nobel Prize winning economist as the second most popular economist of the 20th century after John Maynard Keynes. He shares his surname with the author of The World is Flat, and we need the full name.
I pass.
You pass. Swami,
Milton Friedman.
Milton Friedman is correct. Alrighty, your 2 questions, Ashwath. Which woman in Greek mythology is considered a symbol of marital fidelity? When her husband Odysseus was away for 20 years, she turned away 108 suitors by devising tricks to delay their proposals. She shares her name with an Academy Award-winning actress.
Penelope.
Penelope is correct. And your second question. Ireland's first Olympics medal came in 1924 in the arts and culture segment, with Jack B. Blank winning a silver for a painting called The Liffey Swim. The previous year, his brother had won the highest honor in his own field. What is their common surname?
Yeah. Is it Joyce?
Not Joyce. Harshit,
I pass.
you pass. Swami?
Yates.
Yates is correct. All right, that's the end of round 5. We have Swami in the lead now at 12. Aswath is at 10. Abhinav is at 9. And Harshit is at 1. Next 2 questions to you, Abhinav, coming up. Radio Mango is a radio channel that was established as a venture of which publishing house based in South India? The flagship newspaper initially ceased publication in 1938, but relaunched in 1947 and is still going strong.
The Hindu.
Not the Hindu. Harshit?
I pass.
Pass. Aswath?
Pass.
You pass. Swami?
Pass.
Pass. This is Malayalam Manorama. All right. And your second question, Abhinav. A politician with the surname Skerritt has been the Prime Minister of Dominica since 2004. What is his first name, which might remind one of 2 related American presidents?
John.
Not John. Harshit?
George.
Not George. Aswath?
Pass.
Pass. Swami?
Pass.
Pass 2.
Harrison.
This is Roosevelt. So he's Roosevelt's Skerritt. All right. And the next 2 for you, Swami. First question coming up. Buddha Purnima is celebrated by followers of Buddhism in India to commemorate the birthday of Gautam Buddha. It is known by what other 5-letter name in most South and Southeast Asian countries, since this day falls during the spring season?
Vesak.
Vesak is correct. And your second question. Which of the 4 species of atypical penguins gets its common name from its distinctive narrow black band under its head, which makes it appear as if it were wearing a black helmet?
Macaroni.
Not macaroni. Harshit?
Pass.
Pass. Aswath?
Pass.
Pass. Abhinav?
Pass.
You pass. This is chinstrap.
Not chinstrap. Yeah.
Chinstrap. Yes.
Huh? How do you spell it?
Chinstrap. 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 Okay. Next 2 for you, Harshit, coming up. The term vaccine derives from the words variole vaccinae, which was devised in around 1798 to denote cowpox. Which country doctor from Gloucestershire first came up with this phrase?
I pass.
You pass. Aswath?
Jenner.
Jenner is correct. Edward Jenner. Second question for you, Harshit. Which country won their first and only men's European football championships in 1976? The only edition where all 4 matches in the final tournament were decided after extra time. Some outfielders from this country who made the team of the tournament included Jan Pivarnik and Antonin Panenka.
Uruguay.
Not Uruguay. Aswath?
Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia is correct. All right. Your 2 questions coming up, Aswath. Which author has been nominated or shortlisted for the Orange Prize 4 times, once for a standalone novel, Beyond Black, and thrice for each work in a trilogy of historical fiction novels? The trilogy has netted a total of 2 Booker Prize wins.
I think for this, I'm again guessing Hilary Mantel.
And this time you get it right. It is Hilary Mantel. All right, your second question. In 1999, Astronomy magazine listed the 7 wonders of the solar system. Which of these 7 wonders contains gaps and divisions named after people called Huygens, Encke, Keeler, Roche, and Cassini?
These are the rings of Saturn.
The rings of Saturn is correct. Alrighty, so end of round 6, close fight. Cody, Aswath is at 14, Swami is at 13, Abhinav is at 9, and Harshit, you're at 1. And bonus attempts, Abhinav and Aswath are at 8, Swami, you're at 7, and Harshit, you're at 4. Alrighty, your 2, Abhinav, coming up. Which mathematician who won a Nobel Prize in economics was also awarded the 2015 Abel Prize some days before his death in a car crash? He was nicknamed the Phantom of Fine Hall after a mathematics center at Princeton University.
Nash.
John Forbes Nash is correct. And second question. Jonathan Blank is a British chess player who was a 10-time national champion in the 1950s and 60s, but was elevated to Grandmaster only in 1993. His story is similar to his brother, who is celebrated in his field, but won the Nobel Prize in 2020 at the age of 89. What is their common surname?
Good enough.
Not good enough. Harshit,
I pass.
you pass. Swami,
Pass.
you pass. Ashwath,
Pass.
pass.
Ashwin.
This was Roger Penrose, who won the physics Nobel last year. All right, Swami, your 2. In 1860, in retaliation for the torture and execution of almost 20 European and Indian prisoners, this man ordered the destruction of the old summer palace in Beijing. Who is this viceroy of India, whose father is also infamous for a similar act of vandalism in Europe?
The surname is sufficient, right?
Correct.
Here. Elgin.
Elgin, Lord Elgin of the Elgin marbles fame, is correct.
Sorry, my daughter's there. I just need to shut the door.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. All good?
Yep.
Okay. Your question. Okay, I'll wait for Abhinav.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. Your second question. Swami is here. Which cyberpunk manga series by Masamune Shiro has been adapted into an animated film in 1995 and a live action film in 2017? The original animated film has been noted as a major influence on the Matrix series, while the casting of the 2017 adaptation drew accusations of whitewashing.
Alice.
Not Alice. Harshit.
Alita.
Not Alita. Ashwath.
Lion King.
Not Lion King. Abhinav.
Pass.
You pass. This is Ghost in the Shell, which had Scarlett Johansson in the lead role. All right. Harshit, your 2. And this is your first. Which woman in Greek mythology was a master weaver? After a weaving contest with Athena and her eventual punishment, This woman hanged herself out of shame and transformed into a creature now associated with her name. She shares her name with a Marvel character named Julia Carpenter, who exists in the same universe as Peter Parker.
I just need to scroll down. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's gone off the screen.
10 seconds for you, Harshit.
Pass.
You pass. Okay. Swami?
Arachne.
Arachne is correct. All right. If you want to adjust your chat window, now's a good time. Swami.
Yeah. It's for some reason. Okay, now I can see. Can you just type some dummy text?
Yeah, sure.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
Yep. Alrighty. Harshit, your second question coming up. Stanley is the capital of which archipelago, which was at the apex of its newsworthiness nearly 40 years ago? For a very short period, the city was also called Puerto de las Islas Malvinas.
Puerto Rico.
Not Puerto Rico. Abhinav?
Falklands.
Falklands Islands is correct. Alrighty, last two questions for this round coming up for you, Aswath. This Australian pop duo released their debut album in 2005. They were sued by an iconic teen comic book franchise over their name, but a settlement was reached that included the duo making an appearance in the comic book. Which duo, consisting of the twin Aureliaso sisters, is this?
Pass.
You pass. Harshit?
Pass.
Pass. Swami?
Pass.
Abhinav?
Pass.
You pass too. This is the Veronicas. And your second question, Aswath. The name of which desert came about because Delmonico's restaurant in New York City wished to celebrate the 1867 acquisition of a particular territory with a new menu item in 1876.
Baked Alaska.
Baked Alaska is correct. Alrighty, heading into the last round, neck and neck between Swami and Aswath at 15. Abhinav is at 11, not too far behind, and Harshit, you're at 1. Cool. So last 8 questions of the quiz. Coming up, first two for you, Abhinav. What Indian festival that commemorates the Hindu sun god Surya is held every January? It marks the first day of the sun's transit into Capricorn, marking the end of winter solstice and the start of longer days. Knowing what Capricorn's Indian equivalent will definitely help.
Makar Sankranti.
Makar Sankranti is correct. Makar being Capricorn. Second question for you in chat. The administrative center of Norfolk Island, an external territory of Australia, shares its name with a national capital. This national capital was the venue where the first triple century in Test cricket was scored. What is their shared name? Ten more seconds.
London.
Not London. Harshit, I need an answer.
Pass.
Pass. Swami.
Kingston.
Kingston is correct. Kingston, Jamaica, and Kingston. All right, and your two questions coming up, Swami. Known locally as Rahat Lokum, meaning throat comfort, what starchy sweet jelly was created in Istanbul in 1777 and helped secure its creator the position of royal confectioner?
Turkish Delight.
Turkish Delight is correct. And your second question. Which country won their first and only men's UEFA European Football Championships in 1960, the first time the tournament was held? Some outfielders from this country who made the team of the tournament included Slava Metrivelli, Viktor Punyedelnik, Igor Neto, and Valentin Ivanov.
USSR.
USSR, Soviet Union is correct. And next two questions for you, Harshit, coming up. This is your first question. Which group led? Okay, I'll read the question. Which group led by Nicole Scherzinger started life as a modern burlesque dance troupe based out of the famous Viper Room nightclub? Their name, outfits, and aesthetic continue to reflect their burlesque roots. Disbanded in 2010, the group reunited in 2019.
Pass.
You pass. Aswath?
Pass.
You pass. Abhinav?
Pussycat Dolls.
Pussycat Dolls is correct. Looked like you had some trouble. So everything okay, Abhinav?
Yeah, actually, I was just trying to scroll down. The same problem as Swami.
Okay, so all good now? You want to fix your
Yeah,
chat window?
all cool. Yeah, all cool.
All right. Your second question coming up, Harshit. Which 2010 film directed by Edgar Wright is based on a graphic novel series by Brian Lee O'Malley? Starring Michael Cera in the lead role, the film makes distinctive use of video game and comic book imagery.
I pass.
You pass. Aswath?
Pass.
Pass. Swami?
Pass.
Pass. Abhinav?
Pass.
You pass. This is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah.
All right. Last two questions coming up for you, Aswath. And this is your first question. Which of the four atypical penguin species is the only penguin species that breeds during the Antarctic winter? Their long treks up to 120 kilometers and their unique life cycle in such a harsh environment is memorialized in pop culture. You pass. Harshit?
Pass.
Pass. Swami?
Emperor Penguin.
Emperor Penguin is correct. Featured in the March of the Penguins. And your second question, the last question of the quiz coming up, Aswath. Which Viceroy of India compiled and annotated a 1944 anthology of poetry called Other Men's Flowers? He served in World War II as Commander-in-Chief, Middle East. In December 1940, he held the British forces to victory over the Italians in Egypt and Libya during Operation Compass.
Is it Babel?
Lord Wavell is correct. Awesome. Great game, folks. Close till the right end.
Are there any extras like or spares?
There are a few spares which I'll definitely read.
Can you just read out quickly? Just shout out the answer, perhaps.
Yeah, let's do that. So there are 3 extra questions. So what I'll do is I'll just read them out and you can shout out the answers.
Sorry, these are non-comp, right?
Yeah, these are non-comp.
Yeah.
So the quiz is over. Just to conclude, Swami wins it with 19. Aswath comes in second at 16. Abhinav at 13. And Harshit is at 1. All right, so 3 spares. Shout out your answers. Which 1995 superhero film based on a James O'Barr's comic book of the same name was the last film appearance of its lead actor? He tragically passed away after being accidentally wounded on set by a defective blank ammunition.
Pass.
The lead actor was Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee, and the movie was The Crow. Okay, second question. Which country won their first and only men's European Football Championships in 1968, with the final being replayed for the first time following a draw? Some outfielders from this country who made the team of the tournament included Luigi Riva, Sandro Mazzola, and Angelo Domingeni.
Italy.
Italy, the name should have been clue. Next question. The 4 daughters of flamenco musician Juan Manuel Munoz Exposito took their musical group's name as a derivation of their father's stage name, El Tomate. They received international fame in 2002 with a world-famous flamenco Europop fusion hit, which reached the top of the charts in many countries, including UK, Australia, Portugal, Italy, Japan, and Syria. What is the name of this group? Last ketchup is correct. Good. So those are all the questions. Hope you have fun. Thanks for playing, folks.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you for reading, Nitish. Appreciate your
Thank you,
reading.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Best luck for the rest of the tournament. See you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.